Hello, and welcome to day 5 of the 21-day Ashtanga Yoga Challenge. Well done, you've made it to day 5. I woke up this morning feeling a little bit tender in my shoulders from all the Chaturangas, and if I'm honest, I had that feeling a little bit today of, oh God, another day. And I wanted to talk about it because obviously it's real and it really does happen. And just do it. Roll out your mat, see what you can do today if you are feeling a little bit tender or having that slight lack of motivation, because it's about now that you're really going to start making changes in your body. So today, what we're looking at are the two first standing balancing poses of the primary series of Ashtanga. And they are quite complex, and there's a lot to take in regarding these two positions. The first one is Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, which means extending the leg. So balance, extending the leg. And there's lots of variations, and then taking it out to the side. So we look at external rotation. And the second one is Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana. The end result is this foot comes into the groin and we forward fold, maybe taking a bind. So they're fairly advanced positions. So instead of doing the whole sequence today and then adding them on, what we're going to do is our 5 A's, Sun Salutation A, 3 B's, and then we're going to stop and we're going to just jump straight to these two positions and really dissect them so that we can have a full understanding of them and you know which variation is appropriate for your body. So what you will need is a belt, or if you don't have a yoga belt, just a makeshift belt, dressing gown, ropes are really good, tea towels, whatever it is, and then 2 blocks. If you don't have 2 blocks, use your 2 books. So let's get going. Let's warm up the body with our sun salutations. And I want you to think about today, because we're just doing the sun salutations, I really want you to begin to think about your movement with breath. The breath is Ujjayi breathing, and the drishtis, where you look in your sun salutation. So let's really work on that today. So coming to the front of your mat, heels together, toes together, heels slightly apart. Find your standing balance pose. Get that gentle lift through the front of the body. There's a softness and a drawing back and down of the shoulders. And the hands are beside the body, fingertips face down, soft gaze looking forward. And the chin is parallel to the floor. Beginning our Ujjayi breath. Let's take 5 Ujjayi breaths to begin today. Breathing in and out through the nose, creating that whirling, hissing sound. Thinking about lengthening the breath. Maybe close the eyes. Three more deep Ujjayi breathing. Good. Begin to initiate the movement through the body by tucking the tailbone down, belly drawing in, slight contraction of the transverse abdominals. Surya Namaskara A to begin. Ekam, inhale, lift the arms high overhead. Look up. Dvay, exhale, forward fold. Weight into the toes, tucking the chin, lengthen the back of the neck. Trini, inhale, rise to your flat back, lift and lengthen. Chatwari, plant the hands, step it back to your plank. Now if you want to try your full Chaturanga today, squeezing the creases of the elbows forward, contraction of the glutes, and slowly bend the elbows, create this nice straight line, no dipping down through the chest, and as you inhale, rise upward facing, good. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Your first down dog, you might want to bend the knees for 2, Ujjayi breathing. 3, gazing between the legs or to navel. 4, 5. Sapta, inhale, step through, rise to flat back. Ashtanga, forward fold. Now I inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, Samastitihi again. Ekam, inhale, lift the arms, look up. Due, exhale, forward fold. Trini, inhale, rise to flat back. Chaturanga, step to plank, gaze off the tip of the nose as you lower down. Pancha, inhale, upward facing dog, gaze to nose. Shat, exhale, downward facing dog. 1, tuck the chin. 2, spread the fingertips wide. 3, softness in the elbow joint to relax the shoulders. 4, remember, bend the knees if you need to get the length in the spine. 5. Sapta, inhale, look forward, step it through, rise to flat back. Lengthen the legs. Ashtanga, exhale, forward fold. Now I inhale, rise to standing, lift the arms. Exhale, hands to side. 3 more. Ekam, inhale, lift up. Ashtanga, exhale, forward fold. Trini, inhale, rise to flat back. Chaturanga, maybe we want to jump to plank. Maybe drop the knees. Keep that nice straight line through the back of the body. Pancha, inhale, upward facing. Shat, exhale, downward facing. Reposition the feet hip distance apart for 1. Softness in the knee joint. 2. 3. 4. 5. Sapta, inhale, look forward, step or jump. Rise to flat back. Ashtanga, exhale, forward fold. Now I inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, hands by the side. Now let's do the last 2 with just the inhale or exhale so you can get familiar and memorize the position. Ekam, inhale. Due, exhale. Trini, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Pancha, inhale. Shat, exhale. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Sapta, inhale. Ashtanga, exhale. Now I inhale. Exhale. Working on the gaze points. Inhale, look up. Exhale, forward fold, gaze to tip of nose. Inhale, gaze between the eyebrows. Exhale, gaze off the tip of your nose. Pancha, inhale, stay with the gaze at the nose. Shat, exhale, gaze to knees or navel. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Sapta, inhale, gaze between the eyebrows. Ashtanga, exhale, gaze to tip of nose. Noah, inhale, gaze up. Exhale, Samastitihi, Surya Namaskara B, adding on Utkatasana and Warrior One. Ekam, inhale, bend the knees, lift the arms, lengthen through the spine. Due, exhale, forward fold. Trini, inhale, rise to your flat back position. Chaturanga, step or jump to plank. If you're getting fatigued now, drop the knees, chest, chin. It's your choice, your practice. Pancha, inhale, upward facing, shoulders back and down. Exhale, downward facing. Sapta, step the right foot forward, find the length. Inhale to lift the arms, Warrior One. Ashtanga, exhale, step back and lower down. Knees, chest, chin or full Chaturanga, your choice. Inhale, upward facing. Desha, exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot forward, Warrior One. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, step back and lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing, 5 breaths. 1. Beginning to build the heat now. 2. Deep breaths. 3. Where has your Ujjayi breathing gone? 5. Inhale, step through, rise to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, lift the arms, look up. Exhale to stand. Now let's do the breath with the gaze points. Think about the inhale, exhale. So, Ekam, inhale, look up. Due, exhale, gaze off the tip of your nose. Trini, inhale, gaze forward. Chaturanga, exhale, gaze off the tip of your nose. Pancha, inhale, stay with the gaze at the nose. Shat, exhale, gaze between knees. Sapta, inhale, gaze to your thumbs or between the hands. Ashtanga, exhale, gaze to nose. Inhale, gaze to nose. Desha, exhale, gaze to knees. Ekadasha, inhale, gaze to thumbs or between the hands. Dvedasha, exhale, gaze to nose. Triodasha, inhale, gaze to nose. Chaturdasha, exhale, gaze to knees or navel for 1. Lower belly drawing in. 2. 3. 4. 5. Panchadasha, inhale, gaze forward. Shodasha, exhale, gaze to nose. Saptadisha, inhale, gaze up. Exhale to stand. Whew, 1 more. Let's go. Ekam, inhale, bend the knees, look up. Due, exhale, forward fold. Trini, inhale, rise to flat back. Chaturanga, step or jump to your plank, lower down. Pancha, inhale, a little bit more rhythmic now. Shat, exhale, down dog. Sapta, inhale, Warrior One. Ashtanga, exhale, back and down. Noah, inhale, upward facing. Desha, exhale, downward facing. Ekadasha, inhale, Warrior One. Dvedasha, exhale, lower down. Triodasha, inhale, Chaturanga, exhale, 5 breaths. 1, stick with it. 2, maybe the breath feels a little bit stronger. 3, maybe the heart's beating a little bit faster. 4, building that heat and openness in the body. 5, Panchadasha, step or jump, rise to flat back. Shodasha, exhale, forward fold. Saptadisha, inhale, rise to Utkatasana, look up. Exhale, Samastiti. We did it. 5 A's, 3 B's, well done. Give your wrists a little bit of a wiggle after a few days. They might feel a little bit tender because we're applying a lot of weight through them. Well, not a lot of weight. But yeah, so just be aware of that. And if you are feeling a little bit tender, when you're in your down dogs, really focus on pressing the base of the index finger down to equalize the pressure through the wrist joint. So now we're going to jump straight into the 2 standing balance poses. Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana and Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana. So Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana has a lot of things going on with it. One is the balance through the leg. And then the second thing that we're working on is hamstrings. The third thing we're working on then after that is external rotation of the hip. So there are lots of variations for this. And there's a lot of ways to do it. And there's a lot of things that I see where people are really striving to get the end result, but missing out perhaps some fundamental points. So we're going to look at it a little bit. So first of all is to get the balance. So key factors about balance in the body. If you have any ear issues going on, it may be a little bit more challenging for you. Also, if you have any ankle issues, particularly if you're prone to spraining your ankles, then this might be a little bit more challenging for you as well. So move with a sense of compassion in these poses, and just be aware of your own body. Just because somebody can effortlessly do these things doesn't mean that we all can. So to begin, feet are just narrower than hip distance apart. For me, that feels better. My hands are to the waist. The other factor around balancing is if we look all around the room all the time, we're going to feel less balanced, and we're going to get distracted. So your gaze point or where you look is fundamental. So I like to find something on the floor, maybe a little bit of dirt or what fluff or whatever it is. Find it and keep the gaze there. Then we physically transfer the weight into the left foot to begin. The left leg stays straight, so I'm not bending the left knee, it's straight. And I balance on my right tiptoes to begin. The shoulders remain stacked over my hips, so I'm not leaning forward, I'm not leaning back. Good. And you'll notice that some people do this to counteract, or if we've got tightness in the body. So that's something to think about. Hands to waist. Find the gaze point. The final factor is your breath. So you're going to inhale as you lift the knee towards the chest and take the right hand around the knee. So this is working the balance. Now, if this is already challenging for you and you're finding that you're wobbling, my advice is to go to a wall and this left elbow stand side on and the left elbow just presses against the wall, which is going to give you support. And what we're really working on is pressing through the standing heel so that the leg is straight, lifting the knee and making sure that the shoulders are stacking over the hips. So we are not leaning forward, which happens a lot, and then the knee bends. And we're not leaning back to lift the knee. So just be aware of that. If you can see yourself in the mirror, have a go and just have a look. If you're feeling relatively okay, now take your shoulders to the wall, left hand to waist, and let's lift the right knee. Once we've done our breaths here, so we have 5 counts like this, we then take it into external rotation. And I want you to take your glutes and your shoulders to the wall, because what happens a lot to overcompensate if we've got a little bit of a tightness in the hip, which I do, is, I'll go upside on, to get the hip out, we stick the bum out. You can't really see, oh, maybe you can see. To stick the bum out, to take the knee out, I stick the bum out. And we want to avoid that. So this tailbone wants to stay pressing down, and the movement comes really from the external rotation through the leg. And once you take your bum and shoulders to the wall, you're not going to be able to stick your bum out. And what it might mean is the temptation to want to take it 90 degrees out to the side. We physically can't. Now, some of you are going to have really beautiful open hips, depending on the makeup of your ball and socket joint of your hip. And some of you, me, are going to have tightness in there. I was born with my feet turning in, my hips turn in. So for me to stand normally, I'm already externally rotating my hips. And to take the toes out, it's really challenging. So it's just an awareness of your own body type, and that we all have slightly different availability through the body. So stage 1 of this pose. Let's go into it. Lifting the right knee, lifting the chest. There's a width through the front of the chest for 3. Good. 4. We're breathing in and out through the nose, Ujjayi breath. And 5. As you externally rotate, you exhale, tailbone pressing down, remembering that we don't have to take it all the way out. For 5 breaths, and if you have the balance, you take it over the left shoulder. 4. Good. And 5, and then you inhale back to center, and as you exhale, both hands come to waist, and you lengthen the leg. 5 breaths, release. Let's just go on to the other side doing that. So we should all be at a point where we can do that. If you need support, remember elbow to wall, knee comes up. I'm straightening through the right leg now, left knee bends, shoulders stacked over hips, widening through the chest, slight contraction of the glutes. And as you exhale, we externally rotate, take it out to the side, take the gaze over to the right. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, draw it through. Exhale, lengthen. So this is really getting into those hip flexors. And what I see a lot in this one, something to watch out for. So when I lift the leg, because I want to get it higher, I come back. Ugh. And it just means that the hip isn't quite there, that flexion through the hip isn't quite there yet. So if it means that your leg naturally drops, that's okay. The shoulders stay stacking over wrists. We squeeze back and lift up, strong straight leg, point the toe. And eventually it will get higher. But as I said, it just takes time, and that's okay. So if we feel like we're kind of comfortable with that one, the next stage would be to take a belt. And what we're doing, instead of having the knee bent, is the leg is straight. So wrapping the belt around the right sole of the foot to begin. And then you're going to come up. If you find that the balance now goes, take the elbow to the wall, and you're working on straightening through both of the legs. This just gives us a little bit more space to maintain the shoulders stacking over the hips and point the toes away from you. So let's stay here, drawing the right hip back, the right shoulder back, lifting the chest. 3, good. 4, 5, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, take it out to the side. Press the tailbone down, gaze over the left for 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, back to center. Exhale, drop the belt, hands to waist. 2, straighten the standing leg. 3, lift the chest. 4, and 5, exhale, release. Good, let's go on to the other side. So now weight into the right foot, wrapping the belt around the left sole of the foot, extending it away. Both my belt and my arm is straight, both my legs are straight, shoulders over hips for 2, point the toes, 3, find the fixed gaze, 4, and 5, exhale to externally rotate, take it wide for 2, good, 3, press through the standing leg, 4, 5, take it in, release, hands to waist, 2, don't lean back, 3, 4, 5, exhale, release. Who'd have thought that lifting your leg could be so challenging? It's amazing, isn't it? So option 1, working on the balance, the knees bent, take it out. Option 2, we use the belt. Option 3, we don't use the belt. So this is where we get lots of compensation through other parts of the body. So I'll do it side on to begin. So let's all try this. If the earlier variations were at your end range, then just stick with that. But it's good to see where eventually you may end up. So left hand to waist, weight into the left foot. I'm looking forward, soft gaze. And to begin, I'm going to squeeze my right knee up towards the chest. The arm comes inside of the knee and I reach down. I wrap my peace fingers around the big toe. And you can stay like this. It's like a standing happy baby, just getting into the hip. If you feel okay and want to try the hamstring, you start pressing the sole of the foot away from you. This is also okay with the leg bent. What you're making sure of is that you're a straight line, crown of the head reaching up, sole of the foot pressing down, straight leg. Now what tends to happen is when we extend through the lifted leg, see what happens to my standing leg, it bends. So this is just a natural occurrence that we need to be aware of when perhaps the mobility through the back and the legs aren't quite there. So my advice, keep the lifted leg slightly bent. 5 breaths, then you're welcome to bend your knee and externally rotate. Otherwise, if you want to give it a go, you turn the leg out, but my advice is don't take it as far. Good. Then we come back in, point the toe and release. So because we've done this side, let's go on to the other side. So just have a play around. And again, you could do that with your elbow against the wall or working on the balance. So it depends what areas you're working on. If you've got tight hamstrings, maybe use the belt. If the balance feels a bit weak, come to a wall. And if you're somewhere in between, just give them all a little go. But just so you know what to add into your practice when we come into class. Right hand to waist. Weight into the right foot, soft gaze, face forward. Let's slow this one down. Let's really work the breath. So as you inhale, we take the knee up towards the chest. As you exhale, reach down, wrap peace fingers and extend the sole of the foot away. Knee can be bent. 5 breaths here. As you exhale, we externally rotate out to the side, widen through the chest, drop the tailbone down. Maybe take the gaze to the right, 5 breaths. Inhale, draw back to midline. Exhale, point the toe, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, shake it out. Good. The traditional version, there are 4 counts in this. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana A to D. And I'll just quickly show you, you don't have to do this, but just so that you're aware of how that looks. Eventually, the hand stays outright, 2 fingers pointing out. And as you inhale, we work the hip flexor of the leg, keep the leg straight and lift it up to the hand. As you exhale, traditionally we then fold forward. But you can stay lifted and we take our 5 breaths, it's up to you. As you breathe in, we rise up. And as you exhale, we take it to the side, gaze over, straighten through the standing leg. And then we inhale, come back to center, exhale for 1. Inhale, straighten the leg for 5, and then we release. So that's the end motion of movement that we're going for. I've been doing the Ashtanga primary series for 10 years now, and I still find it challenging. It does get easier as the body opens up, but it's just the understanding of the body. And I think if we try and jump to the end goal straight away, we miss out some pivotal and fundamental points of the practice or that position, and we can carry on those bad habits throughout. So just take it nice and easy. And as I say, if you've got a mirror at home, have a look at your body. Yeah. Okay, let's move on from there into Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana. Ardha means half, Baddha means bound. Padmottanasana is forward fold. So again, there's lots of variations for this. This one is a standing balance pose with a deep external rotation through the hip. Now I have to just talk about the hips very quickly. The hip, obviously, as we all know, is a ball and socket joint. So there is lots of mobility once upon a time through the hip. So it can move all different ways, in and out, forward and back, create the circles. The external rotation of this pose comes from the hip. If we are tight in the hip, our knee joint and our ankle joint can sometimes compensate for that. So the knee joint, which is a hinge joint, moves forward and back, and there's a tiny bit of left to right movement. It's about 15%. And then, of course, the ankle can roll in all different directions. But again, if you're prone to getting rolled ankles, you want to be really, like when you're running, sprained ankle, you want to be really careful here. So, how do we know if we are overcompensating through our knee or our ankle? And the first indication is that there is pain. So if there is any pain in any part of your practice, but particularly in this one, through your knee, through the outer edges or the inside edges of your knee, you need to come out. The same with the ankle, particularly on the outer edges of the knee and the ankle. If there's any indication of a dull ache or pain, please come out. I'll try and teach as effectively as I can, but obviously it's a little bit tricky when I'm just looking at myself and I can't see you. So anyway, the first variation of this pose is Rikshasana, which is tree pose, which I think we can be fairly familiar with. So to achieve that, let's go. Left sole of the foot presses down. Remember, balance, shoulders over hips, fixed gaze point, deep breath in and out through the nose. From there, slight mild external rotation and just plant the heel of the right foot against the left ankle. So just see how that feels. Slight contraction of the glutes, lift the chest. Now, if you want, see if you can lift the sole of the foot up towards the inside of the shin, and then see if you can slide it up. You might want to give it a helping hand. God, elegant and graceful as ever. And take it above the knee joint. Good. Now, to avoid the wobbling, you have to switch on your glutes, press the heel of the foot against the thigh and squeeze the thigh back against the sole of the foot. You can sound fairly solid. And this is just working into the external rotation of the right hip, hands to prayer, and you can take your 5 breaths here. This is your option 1. So hopefully you are doing it. You're not just watching me going, oh, that looks easy. Hopefully you're here. And so let's go on to the other side. Good. So weight into the right sole of the foot, external rotation, the heel comes to the ankle. Quite often when we've got tight hips, the knee doesn't want to come out to the side, but this is fairly safe in regards to that knee and ankle because we're not applying any force through it. The only thing I would say is make sure that your foot doesn't rest on the inside of the knee joint. It's either above or below. And then you're contracting the glutes, lifting up. So remember to get that stillness, press the sole of the foot against the thigh, thigh against the foot, contract the glutes, come into your Rikshasana prayer position. And you might see lots of people doing things with their hands. You're welcome to do that there. The fundamental things are we're keeping the chest lifted and we're taking the 5 Ujjayi breathing breaths. Round 2 of Ardha Baddha. External rotation, balance through the left foot. Then from there, you might want a wall to balance on, to assist the balance. The right ankle comes on top of the left knee. What can tend to happen here is the inside of your ankle will become short, so I want you to avoid that by taking the toes back towards the shin bones. And then the right knee is pressing away from you, so we've got that triangle shape between the legs. Take the hands to prayer position, and what you're going to work on is squatting through the left standing leg and coming down. And once you come down, the bum comes back, chest comes forward, spine is in neutral. You'll begin to feel the external rotation through the outer seams of the right hip, and you can wait here for 5. Same on the other side, let's go on to that. So you won't have to do all of these in the sequence. I'm just giving you the options for you to choose what is apparent for your body. And once we do the standing series, you can add which variation you'd like. So left ankle above right knee, toes draw back, create the triangle shape, hands to prayer. We inhale, and as you exhale, press the bum back. Good, we take our 5 breaths. And then we come out. I just couldn't hold that one today, it happens. Left to right side of your body is always going to be different. So for me, right side was easy peasy, left side it felt like I've never externally rotated my hip before in my life. So if you're fairly familiar with this pose and you've done it before, the next stage from here is that we're coming into half bound lotus. And I would say take your blocks if you want to go into the forward fold from here. So lifting the heel of the foot, scoop underneath and try and get the heel of the foot as high up to your belly button as possible. Then point your toe. Take the top of the foot and tuck it into the opposite groin. And this is where you want to pay attention to your ankle joint and your knee joint. So if there is any sensations here, but you've that are irritating or cause pain, then you're going to come to the earlier variation of the heel just above the knee. Stage 1 of this one is we come into half lotus. This knee is drawing in and down, and the right hand comes behind the back to try and find the elbow. And you can stay here for 5 breaths. The next stage from here is if the foot is nice and tucked, we begin to forward fold, and you see if you can take the bind with the right hand behind the back onto the big toe. And then we come into a mild forward fold, taking the block underneath the left hand. If the bind's not there, you can come down, take both hands to the blocks, and then eventually come lower and lower and lower, right hand behind the back. You're thinking about your nose to your knee, and then we inhale, rise, flat back, exhale here, inhale, rise to standing, exhale, release. So again, this takes a lot of time to get into this pose. Any issues through the hips, any pain or irritation through the knee or the ankle, just don't rush it. For most of you, I would probably say that you can be lifting the heel towards the belly button, working that, and then pointing the toe, holding it with your opposite hand and working on pressing the knee down. And again, if you need the wall, take the wall. And I think this is a good variation. You should be okay unless you have, severe hip, knee, ankle problems. Left hand behind the back. We breathe in, and as you exhale, it's the forward fold. Maybe take the bind, coming down. 5 breaths. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, inhale, rise, exhale. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana. And they are our 2 standing balance poses, which we will work into the full sequence tomorrow. So let's come into our 4 last closing poses for today's session. Well done. I hope I didn't waffle on too much today. I felt like I did. Hey ho, never mind. Let's cross the ankles, take the block underneath. The sit bone, if you need, take the hands behind the back. Yoga Mudra. Sealing in the benefits of our practice, let's gain a relationship with our breath once again. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, forward fold. Take the block under the forehead if you need for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, rise all the way up. Release the hands, index finger and thumb together. Straighten the arms, close the eyes or soft gaze. 10 deep Ujjayi breaths from here. Inhale. Exhale. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gently open the eyes, release the hands, well done. Moving into Pluti preparation. Today we're going to turn it up a gear. So if you're still working on taking your hands forward and trying to lift the feet up, squeezing the knees into the chest, you're going to take that for 5 breaths. Otherwise, you're going to take your 2 blocks or your 2 block books in between the space of the knee and the hip and cross the ankles nice and tight. From there, what I'm going to work on, or what I'm going to ask you to work on, is lifting the bum for 5 breaths off of the floor. So to achieve that, I rock forward very gently on the inhale, and as I exhale, I straighten through the elbow joint, lift the bum for 1, 2, the feet are still down, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release. Well done. We'll look into deepening that as the days go on. But we should be able to find it a little bit more easier to get the lift as we build the strength through our sun salutations. From there, lie onto your back. Well done. Oh, just moving to rest. Take the legs straight out, the arms to the side. Wiggle the shoulders away from the ears. Close the eyes. Take a lovely deep inhale and exhale. Okay. Begin to take some more natural breaths now in and out through the body. As we begin to add these newer positions onto the sequence, it's important to remember not to move in a violent way, trying to force our body into position, but rather to move from a compassionate place with a sense of acceptance of where our body is able to go today. We push and strive and force ourselves into physical asanas or positions. We'll become tired and we'll lose interest in the practice. A friend said to me that we should practice in the body that we want in 10 years, not forcing or pushing into shapes, but allowing our body to naturally open up so that we are still able to remain open and injury-free in 10 years' time. From here, begin to take a lovely deep breath back into your body. Generate some movements through your fingers and toes. Take that lovely full body stretch, lift the arms overhead. And when you're ready, roll onto your right side. Slowly, slowly, making your way back to seated. Crossing the ankles, taking your hands to prayer. Closing the practice on an Om, inhale here. Namaste. Thank you. Well done. You've just done day 5. Well done. So tomorrow we will do the full sequence up to those 2 poses that we've just learned today, and then we will add 3 more poses on after that. And then we have done all of the standing series of the primary series of Ashtanga. How exciting. The 3 poses that we're looking at tomorrow is Utkatasana, which we've already done at the start of our Sun Salutation B, Warrior 1, which we've also already done in our Sun Salutation B, and Warrior 2, which we haven't done, but I'm sure you have all done Warrior 2 before. So let it all sink in, take it in, pause this, go through it. These are challenging positions that take time. Please send me a message, send me a video, let me know if you've got questions. I'd be shocked if you don't have questions, so please just message me. I'd love to hear from you. You know, we've got all the time in the world at the moment. So thank you and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.